All right, everything looking good. We are live. Let's go ahead and get this party started. Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Trend Trader, with our midweek market update. It is 8:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. And as always, before we get started, I'd like to remind you this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly, or you end up living in a van down by the river. All right, let's go ahead and get this started. Hopefully everybody's doing good tonight. Let me know in the chat. Everything's coming through loud and clear. We got a lot to look at today. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the nitty gritty. So obviously we are at some crucial times in these markets. We have basically a lot of things that have been in bull trends threatening that trend. And then we have a lot of things that have been in bear trends threatening to go back into a bull trend. So we're very close to essentially some key trends flipping. So right now we're going to take a look at TNX. As we know, in many ways, this is a gauge of the market, what we can expect. Obviously, rates continuing to come down, almost down to the 200s, which is what we're looking for. That little test down here of our key support levels, the reversion to the mean. We see we are, in fact, printing a bunch of green histograms. We have the slope line on the blue stochastic headed to the upside, ready to exit the bearish control zone. Very, very close to exiting. Won't be long before we see a bullish cross as well. Doesn't have to take us to new highs, but the last time we saw that happen, it took us on, what amounted to a decent little lower high run, 15%. So even if we put in a smaller move from a lower low, it could still be 10 or 12. It could also take us back to new highs. So worth paying attention to. We see some very clear signs. Once we have two green histograms, that is enough for me. That sure looks like bullish divergence, as we have put in lower lows, but higher lows on both of our indicator oscillators. So we do have to be careful, not necessarily of a macro reversal. Obviously, this is very much in an uptrend. We see a little bit of weakness as the 200 simple cross on top. We're very close to returning and retesting fair value with bullish divergence. Seems like just a matter of time before things would pop off. Now, obviously, we don't like to mix technicals and fundamentals too much, but oftentimes fundamentals can be useful for timing. So in this case, I would say we have about a week till the FOMC meeting and the next rate hike. I would say that things can act a fool for a few more days, and then we'll see what happens with the Fed. Obviously, if you get 25, who knows? I mean, we could keep ripping to the upside, soft landing in, progress. Now, when I say soft landing in progress, I'm talking about what people will say. I'm not saying I necessarily think that's going to happen. I haven't changed my mind at all about what I think is going to happen on the macro. I've changed my mind. Well, I shouldn't even say I've changed my mind. It's more just about the timing. I think everybody is way too early to things. Like, you can sell a narrative, everybody gets on board with that narrative, and then all of a sudden the opposite happens for months and years. Eventually, it plays out. But in the meantime, once you're wrong for so long, it doesn't matter if you're eventually right. You're still wrong because you were early. Same with if you're late. If you think something's going to happen, then you're late to it. You miss the move, Doesn't matter. Who cares? So U.S. oil. So we came down here and touched at 70. Obviously, that was a strong support. We're back testing some pretty key resistance levels right now. Starting to build up a little bit of momentum. Not really going anywhere. Not necessarily what you want to see when you're underneath the 200s. So for me, this is still very much bearish. When we flip out to our longer time frames, we see oil obviously went to zero. We see we have very clearly retested the 200 exponential on the weekly. We're back testing the 821. If we can start closing back above the 21, we could potentially start moving back to the upside. We'll get bullish again. We're ready to go. Obviously, we're still very much macro bullish. But short term, obviously, we're expecting a retracement. So, are we going to go to a lower high and then go lower after that? Are we going to go lower first? Are we just going to go to new all-time highs? I don't know which one's going to happen, honestly. So we have to kind of see what's going to happen here. If the 821 starts a bull cross here, I'll just expect we're going to continue the upside. And, we can go from there. We'll look for an internal retracement along the way. If we start to see some weakness, if we get rejected again on this weekly below the 8, I think it's very likely we're coming down here to the 200 simple at like 65, which is like my macro bottom target, essentially. So we'll see what happens. on oil obviously has not been doing anything for quite some time. So Dow Jones still hanging out above the 200s. 200 exponential is blue. 200 simple is still negative for now. As long as we're above those 200s, still very bullish. Only a couple percent off of the all-time highs. Dow Jones at this point in time looks bullish. Looks like it's going to the new all-time highs. When we flip out to the weekly, very bullish. 821 have crossed back to the upside. Very, very bullish. When we look at the monthly, we saved 821 on the monthly, cross back to the upside. You know, very bullish still. Technically still very, very bullish. I don't see anything on specifically the Dow Jones chart that would tell me anything other than bullish at this point. I mean, literally the last thing left right here is to flip the 200 simple blue. And then at that point in time, it's really just take out the previous all-time high. So that being said, we look at SPY now, and SPX I have on here, S&P 500, and essentially descending channel, back testing that cluster resistance, consolidating at that cluster resistance, seems likely to me at this point in time. I don't know why I accidentally switched out this chart, maybe, I don't know. Set a SPY. That's fine. We'll just go with it. You know, if this breaks out, confirms, the measure move takes us essentially back to the all-time highs. Now, it's slightly less than that, but, I mean, it's close enough. Now, is that going to end up looking like that previous move? I mean, obviously, we can see I superimposed this move right here on top. I didn't resize it or anything. It's just completely superimposed there. It doesn't have to happen like that. You know, we're technically like a couple weeks late on this breakout. So if we break out now, and then we come up here and we test this exact area, but it doesn't line up candle for candle, did it even matter? I would say no, it's trash, but it's fun to play with anyway. So, but I don't know. I mean, a lot of coincidences here, a lot of the same market participants, you know, for a little while longer. I mean, most of the ones that have been around for the last crashes ain't going to be around much longer, if you know what I mean. So triple Qs here, not looking nearly as strong, obviously, but testing that descending resistance. We got the 382. We've got a little channel. I mean, honestly, these things look like they're ready for another leg up. Now, we got to be careful, obviously, because we have, you know, the hourglass ticking out, the last couple pieces of sand before Jay Powell gets up there and continues whatever this facade is that's been going on. Next, we have IWM, the Russell. We're back on top of the descending resistance. We're back on top of the 200s. We're starting to flip them bullish. Guys, I mean, the markets right now, granted, this could roll over at any point in time, but the markets right now are starting to look good. I mean, I say starting as we're like up 40+% on many of our positions. They're starting to look really good. So XLE, energy, almost at the new all-time highs again. You know, these are still kind of in order of bullishness. XLI confirming back into a bull trend. Industrials looking good. XLF starting to roll over the trend, trying to move up here, trying to break out. XLB, you know, essentially 200 exponential crossing on top, flipping the slope blue, very close to a breakout of resistance. And again, you know, confirming into a bull market. Now, keep in mind, these could roll over and fail at any point in time, but come on, guys. We don't want to stay too bearish for too long. We don't want to get too bullish too soon, but XLP, consumer staples, obviously one of the safety sectors back below the 200. So now this is looking weak because the money's flowing somewhere else. We're just playing a little bit of musical chairs. That's all. Same money, but it's got to go to different places. XLU, utility, safety sector, breaking back down below the 200s. Are we seeing a theme here? XTN, transportation, trying to reclaim these key levels. We're going to talk about some funny business as well, obviously with the big glitch and all that good stuff. XLRE, real estate, trying to retest the 200s, still relatively weak. XLK, kind of taking over here. Okay, tech, testing the 200s, not looking too bad. XLC, communication, again, retesting the 200s, not looking too terrible. You know, the problem is a lot of these things have used a ton of momentum on the way up, and they've gone essentially nowhere. So they're reaching the level of exhaustion. So we've been talking about it quite a bit in the group and just in general lately. But the most important thing for me is not necessarily when the slope actually flips, like right that second, like just buy all in, we're in a bull trend again. It's more like, what does the first pullback look like? And the problem with that is sometimes you don't get a pullback for a while. So it's okay to, you know, essentially have, rather than a light switch where you go from bearish to bullish, it's okay to have like that little dimmer knob And it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to be like too abrasive and blind myself with the bright lights after we've been in this bear market, you know, hanging out in our cave forever. Like we can just kind of like slowly like undim the lights. They get a little brighter, a little brighter, a little brighter. That's us essentially going from, you know, risk off or negative or bearish, whatever you were through the bear market, into, you know, like neutral, potentially bullish, starting to take positions, swing trades, you know, turning into actual like investments, and then, you know, essentially to like risk on. And if the cycle continues long enough or you're risk averse enough, you know, potentially even like, you know, leveraged long. So communication looking a little better here. XL, didn't we already do real estate? Oh, I kept pushing it over because it looks like trash. That's right. XLY, consumer discretionary, very weak here. All right, so we see UPS. So we've been talking about this move on UPS for the last few days and how we're at the top of the channel. And I was expecting a breakdown back to retest the fib and then potentially to new lows in the bottom of the channel. And there was, you know, a glitch. It doesn't count. We're going to roll back to trades. It definitely wasn't, you know, any funny business at all. Definitely wasn't any funny business. You know, we just had a random capitulation candle down exactly to a fib level. It's like complete coincidence. Okay. It was a glitch. So we're right back where we were though. But honestly, this move isn't even like surprising at all. The thing that's surprising about this move is one, that it happened in a single candle. It should have happened like, you know, just a slow, dirty grind like this. And two, the fact that it got bought straight back up here. So, you know, if you don't believe in market manipulation, or maybe you do, this is 100% market manipulation. But it's like, did the exchange break? Did it break a little bit? Was there some funny business? Was it all of those things together? Yes, I think exactly that. I think that probably, you know, we've seen some big gap ups over here and stuff like that. We've seen some decent gap downs. I think they probably just got a little ahead of themselves. And it was like, oops, that was so obvious. Better pretend like it was an accident. You know, obviously SEC and all the regulators are asleep at the wheel, so we don't have to worry about that. They bought into the self-driving and it didn't work, so they all crashed and are no longer with us. So that's why there's no regulators. I mean, they still like parade out some puppets on TV, but we know no one actually cares. So in my opinion, I mean, this looked weak already going into it. You know, obviously very much in a bear market, you know, very much consistently putting in lower lows. I fully expect this move to just play out over time now. And then it'll be like, that's funny. Someone cleared out the books. I mean, it's like, oh, maybe somebody fat fingered it. I don't think somebody fat fingered like 10 different assets at the same time, some to the upside and some to the downside. So, you know, and fat finger implies that it was obviously an accident. I think more likely it was like, oops, we might have got a little out of hand. But I mean, I don't know. They should be able to see how much volume's in there. Very strange scenario. Very strange scenario. A little funny business. I mean, but if you get liquidated on, I mean, if you have any leverage, let's say you're at 5x leverage, something drops 20% on some crazy like scam wick like that, which is, you know, borderline not even supposed to be possible, you know, with your circuit breakers and whatnot. I mean, you could literally get liquidated and then price actions right back to where it was when the day opened and you're completely screwed. That does not give me like confidence in the markets. So, you know, is this like the first signs of stuff starting to break? I mean, I would say not the first signs, but it's definitely a sign, further signs. It's enough to pay attention to. What's up, Hexevolve? Good to see you, brother. All right, so DXY is next. Obviously, this thing continuing to just slowly grind to the downside. Very close to confirming that bear market on the daily as we essentially print like bullish divergence here and then kind of just give it up. So at some point in time, we'll reach some level of exhaustion. I'm not really worried about it right now. Obviously, we saw the weakness in the dollar. We went risk on in a bunch of different positions. It's playing out very nicely. We don't want to overstay our welcome, but at the same time, we know there's going to be a little bit of cookie crumbs over here somewhere, and we're just after that cream anyway, so can wait for the right signs. So Tesla, beautiful. This thing absolutely crushing. Got a little bit of continuation too after Elon came in and basically just, you know, I mean, look, let's be real. Everybody was expecting Tesla to disappoint or miss or whatever, and they basically came in line with what they were expecting. I think the earnings per share was like what they were expecting, up 5% from what they were expecting. 112 was the estimate, 119 was reported. And then revenue was a surprise of minus 504 million, chump change, 2%. So I mean, when you're doing 24 billion, who cares about that 500 million? You know what I'm saying? Obviously no one in the markets. So it did shoot up a little bit here in the aftermarket trading, but so we have our existing trade on from 108.75 or whatever our market fill was. Had a nice little run up since then. Obviously we have our various targets along the way, still looking nice and thick and juicy. And then we have the double down at the 821 cross, which actually got filled slightly higher. It's like 130, I think like 4 or something like that. 130, yeah, around 134. So it wasn't actually where we wanted to get in. But essentially still juicy. So we have our targets upside. I mean, we could easily roll over on the back test right here at about 163, but I mean, it looks great. And to tell you the truth, the sentiment got so bad on this thing. All we're really doing is we had like a capitulation event. We're just back testing some key support before we go lower. Likely, maybe we go to new all-time highs. I don't know what's going to happen. But in the meantime, I know we're going to milk it, but we're definitely not going to overstay our welcome. So Microsoft, had that little gap down, game pumped up a little bit after earnings, the after hours, kind of guided a little bit shaky, then broke down, pumped all the way back up. Again, a little bit of funny business. This isn't as funny as what was going on. This isn't glitch related, but at the same time, I mean, I think people saw this and expected Tesla was going to be a disaster, and that just was not the case. So we'll see. Descending channel. 200s slightly above our head, broke down, got back up to the 382. This is really the line in the sand. And then after that, it's the 200s or it's the 0.5. Which one's coming first? So obviously we took profits on the Apple trade the other day. I'll give you guys my reasoning behind it. The 821 was crossing back to upside. We're banging our head on resistance. Momentum in our favor. This is one where we already overstayed our welcome. Not by a lot. I mean, we rode this down here 17.5% from our entry. And then, took some off the table, took profits. It bounced all the way back up here, which was our line in the sand if we got back above the 200s. And then we finally consolidated, got the breakdown. But you know what? I mean, we front ran our target by a decent amount here. So we didn't make it down to, our take profit area for the remainder of the trade, which was like another few percent. So on the back test of that resistance, we just closed the short. Which was a good idea, obviously, because it has moved to the upside a few percent since then. So obviously avoided a little bit of that. And honestly, we don't want to get greedy with shorts. I look at shorts as essentially like a ticking time bomb. I want to get in, get some money, and get out of there. This was already way, way longer than I thought it was going to take to break down. I didn't think it was going to happen in one candle overnight, but I didn't think we would go sideways this long just to get a little bit deeper. No thanks. And who knows what's going to happen. Another thing about Apple too is part of the fundamental case for Apple is changing now too, because the dollar was so strong for so long that was putting a lot of pressure on Apple because they do a lot of international business, and the dollar has been weak now for literally months. So we're going to start to see that data reflected in Apple earnings. And the truth is Apple has adjusted prices, in all these other countries where the currency is currently stronger now than it was before. So they raised prices, and then all of a sudden the foreign currencies got more valuable compared to the dollars, which is how Apple denominates everything. So that is actually, now they're having people, if you were paying, let's say $1,000 for your phone before, and then Apple was like, oh, currency in Europe is weak, so we're going to charge you $1,200 for your phone. And then suddenly currency in Europe is strong again, and you're still paying $1,200 for your phone. That actually puts more money in Apple's pocket. So I'm not convinced that Apple's going to be in rough shape like everybody else is. I honestly don't, I don't want to be a contrarian, but I am obviously, but I just don't think, I think people are really wrong about what's going on here. What did we say going into the end of the year? Literally everyone on planet Earth says the first 6 months are going to suck in investments. And then, stocks, speculation, cryptos, whatever you want to call it. And then the second 6 months of the year is going to be strong. And then we're going to pick up and we're going to start back up the bull run. I literally said the opposite. I said we're going to be extremely strong in the beginning of the year, counteracting a bunch of the tax loss selling and a bunch of the, everything was lining up. And now here we are, basically coming up towards the end of January, 1 month in, and the markets have surged in many cases 20 to 40%. And is there more legs on it? Are we already running out of steam? I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the quarter, let alone the rest of the half, but I'm glad I got to participate in this first 20 to 40%. I'll tell you that much. While a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, a lot of people I respect right now, analysts, fundamental, technical, whatever, are essentially making excuses why they didn't participate in that part of the market. Oh, I'm not a swing trader. Oh, I'm not a day trader. Oh, my job is macro. Sure, whatever the excuses is, if I come to you in the morning and I say, hey, you want to, take some positions here and make like 20 to 40%, you're going to just say, no, I'm not into that. I'm all about the macro. Yeah, okay. Okay. I mean, if you can see it coming, you would. And the truth is, everybody thought the opposite. They thought it was going to be extremely weak in the first half of the year. Doesn't even make sense. We built the case for like 20 minutes on an epic rant about why, it was the time to put money in the markets. And it's paid off nicely. So we'll see what's going to happen. Are we going to stay strong for, the rest of the quarter, the rest of the half, and then start to see actually that realistic? I think the narrative is right. I think people are right that people are tightening up. Things are expensive. Food's expensive, gas is expensive. People are getting exhausted from inflation. We saw, goods inflation. Then we saw services inflation. Now we're seeing weakness in goods. So are we then going to see weakness in services? Yes, of course. And then, we'll start to see actual layoffs, not just tech, and, start to see the actual like global / United States contraction, however you're looking at it. I still think that's what's going to happen. I just think everybody's wrong about the timing, which, if you want to talk about timing, we can talk about options. If you're so good at the market that you always win, by all means, play with options. But if you're not great at determining if we're going to go up or we're going to go down, why do you want to bet with time as well? Like you already have, your bet is up or down basically on the markets. And now you're like, oh, now I lose if we go sideways too, or if we don't go sideways. Or so now you lose if you go sideways or if you go down instead of just if you go up or just if, it doesn't make sense to me. Too many people, gambling when all you really got to do is just a little bit of a grind, do some work. Be consistent. So Google, obviously on its way to zero. I came back down here, try to fill that gap. We obviously took that position on Google, and it was looking like it was going to be a juicy pump. But we hit the initial target right here. Did not close out the entire position. And then, of course, we had that pretty aggressive sell-off. Obviously, Google is going to go out of business now because the regulators are mad at them. Oh, wait, there is someone still working. That's crazy. I didn't even, I just assumed that branch of the government had gone out of business. So yeah, I guess there is still someone, like some kind of regulators working. It's obviously a skeleton crew, one man, or maybe it's AI working on it and there's no actual people or employees. But apparently they're going after Google. So yeah, Google's being mean. They're mean. So there went all our gains. But no, honestly, we're trading inside the range. More likely than not, what's going to happen, we're going to get rejected at the top of the range, and then we're just going to keep chopping around. Obviously, we're not going to take an L on this. There's 0% chance we will take an L. If we break down below this support right here at like 90, I guess we'll just like take the close the trade, and basically it'd just be a wash at that point in time. And then it's crazy to reopen slightly below that, but I don't know. We'll see. I think we test back to the upside some more. It was pretty obvious we were probably going to close that gap. I think as long as we're holding above the heart line, specifically if we're holding above like that $91 little support from this area, the kind of cluster breakout, I think we're okay. But more likely than not, we probably just trade around in this range. This thing is looking like it could probably roll over at any minute. So yeah, that one probably will end up turning into a wash. But that's all good. You guys know what it's all about. We don't take any big losses. We take some little losses. We take some little gains. They cancel each other's out. And then we crush it on the big wins. AKA, Tesla, a bunch of the cryptos, all kinds of junk. You could literally buy the worst stuff you bought, the better we did. Who got in on that Bed Bath & Beyond? Am I right? Meta. So Meta, we closed the gap. We're still moving to the upside. Still a nice little push up here to the 200s to go. About like 157. Not much meat on the bone here anymore. And do I think it gets above that level? Probably not. And we got some Amazon in the house. So Amazon got that pretty aggressive breakdown, pumped straight back up, just hanging out here. Does look like it still has one more little leg up here to go, potentially even two if we're going to backtest, close that gap, and hit our 200s. Again, the longer these kind of moves play out, counter trend, and the more just energy we use. I mean, think about it. We were all the way down here a while ago. We print the divergence. We move to the upside. We flip the slope line blue. All these green histograms in a row. Just all this bullishness. And we're just barely like back here. So pardon me if I don't get like super excited when we use all the energy and go nowhere. We just did like an awesome burnout and there's like smoke everywhere and the engine's revving and it sounds like we're just like ripping and roaring. And then like the smoke cloud clears and like you drop your transmission, you know, the car's broke if you're not a car person and you're just like stuck there. Congratulations. That's how Amazon looks right now. All right, so we got some important stuff to talk about on crypto. So exactly what we said was going to play out, played out. And again, nobody noticed because no one else knows how to use these charts. We have secret ticker symbols that other people don't know about. And, you know, if they did, they could literally just do whatever we do because we're very public about it. But yeah, shorts are real nasty when they go wrong. What's up, Parag? Good to see you. Killing it, brother. Amazing. Can't wait to join the group any day now. Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean, we'd be glad to have you, brother. I mean, shit. Obviously, none of this financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor and the tax stuff too. But, I mean, if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time and you're doing any trades whatsoever, I mean, you're killing it. Let's be real. Congratulations. All right, so let's talk about this Bitcoin anomaly that no one else knows about. The super secret Bitcoin chart that no one else has ever heard of or knows the ticker for. It's magic. No, this is the regular one, actually. So, yeah, we see what's happening here. We're back on top of the 200s. We got the hard sell. We have not yet exited the bullish control zone. We're looking for one more push up. We want to see a lower high on the blue blue stochastic, and then it gets rejected, and then it comes down, and then that's how things top out with that sweet, sweet bearish divergence top. That's what we want to see. We're not getting that yet. So we don't want to get greedy. Obviously, it was a pretty aggressive rejection on the 4-hour pump up here. But again, we close like a new high on the daily. It's not bad. I mean, as long as we're closing higher highs, it means more people are buying it. So, I mean, you don't want to get like overly bearish. Obviously, looks very weak. Looks overextended. Looks like it's definitely going to pull back. Probably is coming back to 21,000. Maybe even 19.6. Maybe even goes to, you know, 4,000 or 0. I don't know what's going to happen. But right now, we know what Bitcoin does. It doesn't know anything forever, and then it goes down, and then it doesn't do anything forever, and then it pumps all at once, and then people FOMO in, and then eventually we run out of FOMO people, and then we pull back. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the big pullback for a higher low to see where we find support. We don't really have a higher low. I mean, we could argue that this is our low, and that's our higher low, but like that's it. And this is like one move. This is all in the same little spot. So what I want to see is, you know, here we put in a low, then we had a pretty aggressive move, then we went to a brand new low. That sucks. That's garbage. So here we had a nice pump to the upside. Eventually, we're going to run out of steam. I don't know where that's going to be. And then we're going to come back down. Eventually, we're going to put in a higher low. That's what I want. I don't care where it's at. I don't care if the higher low is at 21,000. I don't care if the higher low is at 20,000. I don't care if we go to 30,000 first and then the higher low is at 25,000 and we're even higher than where we're at right now. I need to see some kind of discernible higher low, because what that tells me is, hey, some people bought down here, then we moved to the upside. And then when people sold, which eventually they do, people take profits, we come back down and we don't go lower than the last time. That is the most important thing. That means less people sold, less crypto got sold back in the market. People were more eager to buy when we pull back down. That's what I want to see. This is like, yeah, okay, kind of, all right. But this is the same move. Like if we turn on a longer time frame chart, this is, you know, like not discernible at all. As where like this low compared to this high compared to this low is very, very discernible compared to, you know, wherever our high ends up being compared to wherever our low ends up being. That's all I want. That's all the market wants. That's what everybody's waiting for. And by everybody, I mean me and some other people. All right, so let's look at the super secret Bitcoin chart. It should be blocked at the top so you can't see the ticker. Obviously, private ticker I made up myself. You know, and it's like super complicated. So you'd never be able to figure out the Bitcoin CME futures chart on your own. It's definitely not just BTC, one exclamation point. That's definitely not the ticker for it that no one else knows how to use, obviously. Or else literally everyone would have known exactly what was going to happen, just like we talked about on Sunday night. So exactly what we said was going to happen happened. We basically got the push up to 200 simple. We got the push up to 200 exponential. That was a big rejection right here. Now we're in between those moving averages. Now we're much, much closer to a confirmation from the two charts that matter in all of the crypto space. Nothing matters except for Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures. They're the only two charts that matter, because no matter what anything else is trying to do, if those disagree with you, they will smack their bitches up so quick. So that's what speaking of smacking up your bitches so quick, if you're here right now watching, make sure you kick that like button in the nuts or whatever it is. Punch it in the ball sack. Smash that like up. I don't know what the kids say these days. So anyway, here we are, back testing the 200s. That's it. We got the big move. Now I don't care what we do. I really don't care what we do. At some point in time, probably come back down, fill the gap, find that support somewhere around like 20K, and then we can be buyers on the way back up here. Maybe we just consolidate here, flip these blue, and then we can just go to the upside off that. Markets look pretty overextended right now. They look pretty tired. Obviously, we have a big event coming up in about a week with Jay Powell. Obviously, I'm betting on blue tie as well. So we'll see. But honestly, crypto's starting to look good. I mean, it's starting to look decent, I should say. Not good. It still looks like trash. Ethereum looks good. It's on top of the 200 exponential, on top of the 200 simple, continuing to move to the upside. Bunch of red histograms, hard sell. We see obviously the Stoch cross the downside. It's finding some support at that level, very close to exiting the bullish control zone. So in many ways, Ethereum has been a little bit of a leading indicator for the other cryptos. And Ethereum is basically saying, hey, I'm the best crypto and I'm getting tired up here. Probably going to have to come on down for a little bit. So I would be very, very careful with your risk on positions at this point in time. Total market cap on the weekly, back testing the 1 trillion level, exactly as expected, as predicted, discussed, blah, blah, blah. It's just the Bitcoin chart. And then we just change the ticker and it's the exact same chart. So it looks exactly the same. Obviously on the weekly, we're retesting the 200 exponential and simple, which is what we've been saying Bitcoin would do on the weekly, and it's doing it. We see a bunch of green histograms, a blue slope line, a hard buy signal, leaving the bearish control zone. The 8 and 21 are very close to let me try to use my words. The 8 and the 21 are very close to crossing to the upside. Bull cross, we haven't had one of those since January 2022. It's kind of a big deal every year or so when we get one of those. Maybe we have a nice little move up to 1.7 trillion. Maybe your favorite shitcoin goes up by 80%. Might not be bad. Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. So trending to the upside again now, obviously very much still in a bear market as it has been its entire life, as the altcoins just suck the life out of poor little Biddy. Poor little guy. I don't think he's going to make it. He's fighting back a little bit right now, but I don't know. We'll see here as people spread back out. They spread their wings and fly into the shit coins. And Bitcoin dominance probably going to come back here a little bit. It is starting to trend to the upside though. I mean, where are we going to go? About 48 probably. Get rejected again. Just trading inside this channel. As long as this is happening, we know there's no new money coming into the crypto market. We know that for a fact, because you'd have to be an absolute retard to put money in the crypto market right now. Obviously, because it's all trash and scams and God knows what's about to blow up next. We haven't even seen the damage from FTX really yet. So, I mean, who knows what's about to happen. So no new money's coming into the game. I think some comes off the sidelines, but let's be real. Nobody's putting new money in this trash right now. Maybe eventually if we flip back into a bull market. Bitcoin dominance on the weekly minus the stable coins. Again, just continuing to strengthen. So again, we see basically Bitcoin taking market cap from all the shit coins. So are people just starting to believe in Bitcoin again? Are they stopping to believe in all the shit coins? Probably a little bit of both. Chainlink still very weak, trying to get above the 200 simple. Next target 200 exponential at $7.60. Polkadot broke out, half the measure move completed, back testing the 786. Seems likely we'll make it up here to the 200 exponential next, about 720. And then we can start looking at some of these other measure big moves up here. Big moves, big prizes. Matic on top of the 200 exponential and simple, consolidating. Got to be careful because this is really looking like a double top M right here. If we literally lose like 93 cents, I mean, there's definitely some support at the 200s, but the measure move would basically take us down to 200 simple, which arguably though, buying opportunity. I mean, this is what you want to see. Like I'm talking about this with Bitcoin. Like I want to see this and that. And you're like, well, I want $1 million in a fucking blowjob. Like who cares what you want? Well, I mean, that's just what you look for. We put in a low right here, put in a high, then we come down, we put in a low, then we come up, we put in a higher high, then we come down, we put in a low. So, you know, on longer time frames, when you look at this stuff, it's like, oh, okay, this is constructive moves to the upside. We put in a low, then we pump up. Then we come back down, we put in a higher low, then we pump up. Then we come back down, we put in, well, in this time frame, not a higher low, but, you know, theoretically, and then we pump up. So, you know, obviously sometimes a weekly or a monthly can look a little different, but, you know, a high, a low, a higher high, a higher low, you know, and then we're looking for, you know, another higher high. Where's that going to be? Above like $1.13. So another 20%, pump it up. This one's above the 200 exponential, above the 200 simple, and they're blue. Everything is postured the way it's supposed to. Bunch of red histograms, but also it's just going sideways. So, you know, here's the situation. Okay, we either like print some bearish divergence, this rolls over, breaks down, the pattern plays out, and then eventually we find support and we can go higher, or it just goes sideways long enough that all these indicator oscillators cool back off, and then we just go to new highs. You know, there's definitely a case for that, honestly. And then BNB, another one, you know, obviously Ethereum, BNB, Matic, some of the strongest cryptos right now. There's still a lot of like garbage trash out there that people are in love with, where the chart still looks terrible. So you can either chase the losers and just hope they catch up, or you can, you know, get on board with the winners. And I mean, look, you guys know what it is. You want to bet on the three-legged horse? It's fun if he wins, but there's a reason it pays 100 to 1. Because he's headed to the glue factory with all your money. So BNB not looking bad here. Obviously still trading inside that range. As long as it's trading inside the range. As long as it's, I mean, it's on its way up here. It's just chewing through all this resistance. Seems like it's about to do that other, I mean, it's not 30% now. If you just waited, you didn't want to get into that BNB when it was looking juicy. Okay, it's 29%. So it's still not bad. I mean, I'd get out of bed for it, but constructive though. Now, is this whole entire thing, you know, all the stuff going on in the crypto right now, you know, giant amount of just manipulation to save the crypto market, an organized effort between all the crypto bros to just get together and just buy crypto and try to save it from that dirty capitulation because everybody's going to get margin called and lose it all? I don't know. I mean, come on. Who cares? Here's the thing. If it was that easy to figure out when there was all this manipulation going on, you would just get on board. If they're like, oh, we're about to manipulate the price on this to like, let's say gold to 2,500, and you're like, oh yeah, I bet, and then it goes to 2,500 right afterwards, and they're like, oh, we're going to manipulate the price back down to 2,000, and then it goes to 2,000, and they're like, oh, we're going to manipulate the price to 3,000 now. I mean, how long do you just say, this is BS, I hate manipulation, this is mean, before you just like say, okay, fine. I mean, if you're going to do that, I'll just like, you know, bet on the same side as you guys do. So everybody that's like, well, they're manipulating gold prices. Whoa, they're mean to crypto. I mean, who gives a shit? If it was that obvious what they were manipulating and what they were doing and the plunge protection team was saving everybody, why wouldn't you just go long then? If you know there's a plunge protection team, if you know there's a Fed put on the market, if you know there's a floor, then why are you fighting it? Why are you fighting it? We're not fighting it. I hope they do turn the money printer back on. I hope we go back down to 0%. I hope they pump everything back up to new all-time highs. I hope they do it all. You want to know why? Because working's hard. It's not that hard. But, I mean, bull markets are easy. So, go ahead. Go ahead, Jay Powell. I dare you. Make my day. I double dog dare you. So, gold, still strong here. Trying to confirm into that bull market. 200 exponential on top. 200 simple, basically flat. At this point in time, I mean, this thing is like marched up the same way the dollar is marched down. So, if you're like, they're manipulating gold, then you're like, they're manipulating the dollar. And then it's like, at what point in time do we just like not even play in the markets then? I mean, if everybody's cheating and we can't do anything about it, why even play Monopoly? We don't. We just pack up our one hotel, 2 houses and a couple like little railroad, you know, maybe that get out of jail free card, whatever we got left at this point in time, and we just take our toys, we go home. Silver, not looking nearly as strong, especially not on the weekly. Not looking nearly as strong. Gold's continuing to just melt up. Silver is at that resistance. It's actually just shy of that resistance, but close enough. So we know this is like the wedge we've been squeezing in forever. If we break out of this wedge, we're going to retest 30 and then probably break above it. I don't know if that's what's about to happen, though, honestly. I mean, maybe gold is lying a little bit and silver's just kind of like, hey, actually, gold, don't get ahead of yourself there. This is our peak from 2011. And then obviously we like triple, quadruple, whatever top here. And then we're banging our head again. So if we get above this line, which is pretty clear, you know, I mean, pretty clean cut, you could kind of like move it up a little bit or down or, you know, mess with it however you want. But we get the point. It doesn't have to be perfect. Fact of the matter is, if we start closing back above that line, you know, likely we retest the highs at 30. And then after that, you know, it's this internal retracement, $35, somewhere we haven't been in a long time. 2012. Haven't been there since 2012. $35. And then after that, I mean, might as well just go to 50. And then if we go to 50, you guys know it's the biggest cup and handle in all of existence. Oh, that looks so underwhelming. That's what she said. What? You're supposed to be on my side. I mean, this is the measure move. It looks so puny when we put it like this. Oh, I forgot they changed out how the TradingView. Why are you always playing with me? Hang on. We'll put a legit measure move. I mean, this is going to be ridiculous now. Let's just say if we did break out and we did hit that measure move of the cup and handle, which we're not going to because obviously silver is going to 0. But it is, oh, it's so close. It's $660. It's like so close to the mark of the beast. I mean, we could stretch it a little bit. We could round it up some. But I mean, 660 on silver, you guys filling up your pockets. It will never go to 660 ever. 241 is a 1.618, which also, obviously, silver is not going to $240. It's more likely it goes straight to 0. And actually, like, they're like, oh, actually, silver's like really bad. And like, it may be shiny, but it's deceitful. So you don't want it anymore. Matter of fact, it's like lead. Remember what happened to the lead and the paint and the chips and all the kids? Yeah, don't do that. So I don't know. Silver going to 0. Throwing everything on black. Definitely not silver. But if we were going to look at some of the miners, if we did believe what was going on right now, GDXJ, descending channel. We did get the break right here. It kind of failed, like underperformed. Here we get the breakout right here. Measure move should take us back up here to that internal fib at like $48. Internal retrace of the 382. Yeah, I mean, it seems likely we're headed up here. Maybe it's topping out right now. It's possible. It seems very likely it's going to print some bearish divergence. Roll over. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, these things have substantially underperformed. SILJ is the same way too. So GSG, we got that nice little double bottom back test, reclaim the channel, back testing the 200. I mean, to tell you the truth, we're back inside the channel now. So next target 22.29. After that, probably to the top if we see continuation 23. So LNG holding that support for now. Doesn't look great. Looks like it's about to lose those 200s. They are basically flipping red as we speak. We couldn't get the 821 bull cross. Looks like we're about to roll over. And if we do, we probably retest the lows. But again, that's what we're looking for. We want to see, do we put in a new lower low or a higher low? This does not look great, though. Honestly, it looks very distribution-y. MOS. It's so weird that there's like, you know, I mean, we do cover a lot of like stocks and cryptos, but like quite a few of the ones we cover literally did exactly what we said, like in a single random glitch candle. like complete coincidence, obviously, because they're like, oh, the orders didn't go in the books, and then when they execute in the line, and then it went down to the target, and there was no buy orders the whole way. Oh, that's so crazy. And then suddenly it just shot back up in a single. Oh, what a coincidence. So, yeah, I mean, it looks a little sus. Let's be real. Well, we just have that giant descending channel. We back tested 200. That was our target. Obviously, didn't quite get up to 200 simple. That was after, obviously, a capitulation to a new low. So we have a low, a high, a lower low here. You could say that was our low. Then we put in another lower high. Now we put in another lower low. There's a lot of ways we could look at this. Obviously, when you get some crazy anomaly, scam, wick, candle, manipulation, whatever you want to call it, it kind of throws off the charts a little bit. So what do? Do you ignore that candle and just assume it was like just opened, closed right here and then opened back at the same spot and nothing happened? It's up to you. There's no textbook that says what to do when there's a glitch. A glitch in the old Matrix. Speaking of the Matrix, is our boy still in jail? And by our boy, I mean the guy. HD, not your Harley Davidson. So we've been talking about this one for a while. It has literally done nothing the entire time. Could not get above that W. We have a gigantic W right here. We're at resistance. We're chopping sideways. We're above the 200 exponential, which is above the 200 simple. And now they're both blue. So, I mean, this looks better than it did before. I mean, it looked good right here for the potential breakout. It looks way better down here. Honestly, as long as this thing just keeps creeping up, it's not as juicy for like the double on the Tesla, but I mean, I don't know if we're going to get the deep retrace entry or the second entry. Should be able to squeeze like 20% out of this bad boy, though. I mean, realistically, though, at that point in time, it's just going to new all-time highs. So, Home Depot looking pretty good. Another one of the random glitch charts. It's like whoever glitched out the markets, obviously a subscriber. Oh, maybe not anymore. I don't know. I went negative for the first time ever. So, whatever I'm doing, I should either do less of it or more of something else because I went negative on subscribers for the first time ever since I started this channel. So, apparently some people are pissed how well we're doing. Like, is that jealousy or what, if I've ever seen it? I mean, honestly, we've been pretty on the markets for the last couple of years, but we have been exponentially nailing it going into the end of the year and then also the beginning of the year, and I'm losing subscribers. I have been kind of harsh on some of the shit coins lately, so that's probably what it is. I probably lost my last of the Cardano people. I've been pretty mean to the XRPs. Some of the other ones as well, Avalanche and stuff. Okay, so yeah, I just probably cleared out some of the cult members. I think probably also I lost some people that were like, I hate you and you're mean to Tesla. And then all of a sudden I'm buying Tesla while they're selling. And now they're just mad because they're like, I sold you all my Tesla shares and now it's up 40%. I hate you. Holy shit. Seriously though, I mean, it's kind of funny that I went negative while we're like crushing 40% trades in like a week or two. But anyway, that's beside the point. I mean, I honestly don't care. It's just fun. I use that as a gauge of interest for the work I'm doing. And it seems like nobody gives a shit. So that being said, Altria, a little bit of funny business going on here. Nothing too crazy. Nothing out of the ordinary. Not like a particularly large and awkward pump, and then like, immediate dump or anything like that. No weird like 15% gap ups followed by 100% nonstop selling. Definitely was not any of that going on. I mean, it's crossing into a bear market. This is, it was having a nice move to the upside. It broke down from here. That was a nice little bull market. I mean, it wasn't. It was actually kind of pathetic bull market. And then now bear market again. This was like a desperate attempt. I mean, a glitch in the matrix. And what really happened? I mean, just a hard rejection. That's as hard as it gets. So hard that you have to like say that it's not real, that it's something else, that something broke. So bear market, I mean, confirmed, further confirmed. I don't know. I mean, I'm expecting this at new lows. So down here, obviously that would have been a decent scalp opportunity. But honestly, this thing just looked like trash. Even if you bought like the absolute bottom, let's pretend that, you know, you took profits on the 200s. That was only 15% move. Obviously, you know, dividend stock, blue chipper. But I mean, I don't want to just get like overly bullish on this thing. It's good and everything. I like it. I like the idea of it, but it's trash. It put in a high in 2017. We went on like the most epic rip roar bull market in all of history. And look at this patheticness. I mean, it didn't even get anywhere near its all-time high. I thought I was looking at XRP chart for a second. What even is this garbage? Is this a cryptocurrency? This can't be a real company. There's no way. It's still down 26% after the most epic rally ever. It's not possible. This has to be some garbage company that doesn't make money. I mean, you would think by the chart. So I don't know. I mean, this looks like a disgusting A leg down followed by a pathetic B leg up. And then likely after that, I mean, are we going to get the dirty, rotten C? Ooh, can I even say that? I feel like that's like, I was not expecting that to come out as foul as it did. I meant like a dirty, rotten, like C wave, not like C word. Jesus, get this guy under control. Can we get a moderator in here? Somebody mute this guy's mic. He's out of control. He invested in Google, air quotes. We got him on that one, but so I don't know. I mean, this looks like trash to me, honestly. Broke down here. I mean, what was that really? Just a back test? I mean, it's okay. We still have like higher low kind of scenario going on here. Kind of. You could probably do like a channel out of that, but I don't know, man. I don't know, man. And to tell you the truth, anything that had one of these ridiculous like candles on it, which it was only like a select few things. It just happens it's all stuff that we like cover. I'm hesitant to even put any money in any of those things. Because, I mean, it didn't happen all over the place. If there was some kind of weird glitch and it's like, oh, whoops, we forgot to put in the buy orders, or whoop, the sell orders glitched out and didn't go in. So it was all one-way trading action. And then as soon as it moved massively in one direction and liquidated a bunch of people, immediately, you know, got back down to exactly where it started at by complete coincidence. And we'll maybe probably going to refund some of the trades, but other people, well, sorry about your luck. Why didn't it happen like market wide? It just so happened there was like 10 important stocks that were on this like glitch. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let me get my tin foil. Hang on. AMD melting down at the top of the range right now. If we break through this, 200s above our head, this thing could get a nice move to the upside. So we're paying attention to the higher low right here. And this is all I want from Bitcoin. I just want to put in a low, then pump some, then put in a higher low, and then we can do whatever after that. Maybe we get rejected and go lower. Maybe we pump, go to new all-time highs. But I want this. After a massive pump, there's always a pullback. I don't know when the pump stops, but eventually there will be a pullback. And that's what we're waiting for. And I don't even know why we're looking at AMD. Did somebody ask me to look at this? We're like backtesting the 200s. Descending resistance. A lot of these, probably because it's been underperforming. That's probably why. 33% is not bad, but like Nvidia and some of these other chipperoonies really pumped up here. Visa. So another one. Obviously, we broke out of the descending channel. You know, we were expecting to get the measure move to the upside. Again, not expecting to get it in a single wick candle. Coincidentally, back to retest all-time highs. The measure move as we confirm into a bull market. All in, you know, a single second as we're like potentially printing bearish diver. God, these markets are sus as hell. One thing I used to like about like the actual stock market compared to like crypto or like penny stock garbage is that you don't get stuff like this happening. Apparently that's just not a thing anymore, which it's like, why would it be a thing? There's no regulation. So just let them do whatever. Who cares? Lulu, God, I feel like I probably sound like somebody that lost money, but like honestly, none of the like moves actually really even affected me at all. And basically like all our trades are absolutely crushing it right now. So I guess really I just don't care, but you know, it's like our safe space. It's like these like mega cap, like, you know, hundreds of millions, billions, even $1 trillion stocks. And then it's like, well, I mean, surely there won't be any funny business here. And then it's like, maybe a little funny business. I mean, what's a, $20 billion move amongst friends? What's a $150 billion move amongst friends? Whatever. So Lulu's been pretty weak lately. Man, they like pre-issued that guidance, ran up, straight up, gap down. And then, man, it's probably going to be a bust on this one. It looked like it was setting up for some potential to the upside, but honestly, I mean, this is it. This is like our line in the sand, okay? We came down here, retested the descending channel. We retested the ascending channel. I mean, this is basically, we're closing now below the 200s, which was part of the reason we were bullish on this to begin with. So the breakout, the close above the 200s, there was a lot of good stuff here at one point in time. Now we're at key support, breakout, retesting what was resistance as support, ascending support. We're at key support. So this is it. But I mean, at this point in time, the line in the sand is only a couple % away. If we break down below this level, our stop loss here, that's a wrap. And, anything constructive this had built, it's just like we broke out, we failed to hold the breakout, and now we're back in the channel, probably going to new lows and our target of 213, which is fine. It just means we don't get, the scalp trade set up to play out, which again is fine. I mean, it just be a lot easier if the Fed would just print all the money and make all the stuff go up. I mean, come on, guys. This is going to be the one time we don't do it. I mean, the market says no. Market says it's going to smack the Fed around like it's bitch. The Fed is going to print money, cut rates, and we're going to new all-time highs on everything. Okay? I don't care what it is. If it went to zero already, some scam coin that got delisted or something like that. Was it Celsius? Crypto Moonshot? Nope, that's not it. Moon. What was the one that I used to always make fun of? God, I can't even think of the names anymore. Cumrocket? All of them. Safe Moon. Safe Moon, all the ones that you thought went to zero and were going to zero, new all-time highs tomorrow. As soon as we turn on the money printer. Just get ready. I mean, according to the market, that's what's about to happen. So, all right, let's talk about these pot stocks here. I mean, because honestly, there's nothing worse than just hearing me talk for hours at a time about how awesome we are at everything and how great our trades are. Let's look at some potential trades here, okay? In case you missed out or you're just a greedy fucker and it just hasn't been enough and you're like, I got to have more, like scratching full-on degen status. Obviously, all these pot stocks are going to zero. We know that. We've been betting on that for a long time. There's potential breakout on Tilray. It got crushed horribly and went to new lows, like the pathetic, dirty little stock that it is. It's a penny stock now, too. I mean, I'm surprised it's even $3. Honestly, I think it should cost a penny. That being said, this is a real company that does real things. And the 821 bull cross and the resistance and building some momentum and getting close to flipping the slope line blue. I don't know about this, though. Looking kind of tired. But it does tend to come back down, back test, push up, lower high, and that's where it gets rejected. So I don't want to get like overly bullish or bearish on these trash stocks here. But I've been putting together some setups on some of this trash here. So, like 20 to 80% with some relatively tight stop losses. And you're like, well, show us the trade setup. All right, I will. Fine. This is like not my favorite one, though. Let's be real. This is like the Cardano of pot stocks. This is the XRP of cannabis. This is the safe Mooney of Dogecoins. No, that doesn't work. So, I mean, this is like the move you're hoping for is the back test of 236. And this is like, a retest of macro low and we don't go lower. 81% upside, 17% downside if we go to new lows. Not great. Realistically, the 200s are like 40% up. So it's still not even a great setup on Tilray. So I've got to just stick to some of the other ones. Let's look at ACB now. Aurora Cannabis, much, much worse company, substantially worse. Probably goes out of business very, very soon. But honestly, I mean, if ACB came out tomorrow and was like, hey guys, we're going out of business, we're going to file for bankruptcy or like whatever, we might just burn the whole place down, we don't even have insurance, this thing would probably be up like 300% tomorrow. So just don't miss your opportunity because bankruptcy is probably getting soon. I mean, I heard they were already lighting the matches. Actually, wait, I don't know. You could probably get in trouble if you burn down a giant cannabis facility because there's like schools around and stuff like that. I don't know. Not a good idea, guys. flooded or something different. Anyway, so ACB right before it goes out of business, setting up for a potential backtest of the 200s, a backtest of that previous resistance right here. And we're talking about a big, thick, juicy move. Okay, 62%. Obviously, the stop loss is, yikes. I mean, when you're at 0, it doesn't take much to have a big stop loss, but 20% stop loss, yikes. 3-to-1 risk reward to the upside. Let's be real, though. Let's just say it randomly does bottom out here temporarily on the way to 0, and it does get a bounce up here, 60%. There's a possibility it could start going nuts. And, we could start seeing some ridiculous moves up here in the 284%. Now, obviously, it's not going to do that. It's going to go to 0. But even if you were betting right now, hey, maybe this thing goes to 0, okay, 100% downside, all the money, and it's gone. Or maybe it pumps back up to just a pathetic $3.77, which seems like a lot when you're a trash that's under $1. But I mean, that is like almost 300%. So it's not bad. And then you're like, what if like hypothetically something that will literally never happen happened? And it was like, oh, that actually was like the macro bottom. And one day this company's not trash and it makes money and goes to new all-time highs. It's like 15. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to exaggerate. It's 14,900% if it goes back to $147. Is it ever going to do that? No, obviously not. It's going to 0. But right now, if you were like, I'm looking for just a crazy, just bet lottery ticket type situation where I just go spend my money, I assume it's all gone to 0, and I just get like a scratch off ticket, which is worthless, so I might as well not even scratch it and just throw it away. If I was looking to do something like that, this might not be a bad bet. 14,903% upside or 100% downside. I would say that's asymmetric risk reward if I've ever seen it. Now, again, obviously this goes to 0. So we're not going to do that. But I mean, I already did, but I mean, I wouldn't do it if I was you, unless you want to lose your money. And obviously you would never listen to me because you don't want to live in a van down by the river, unless you do, in which case okay, just in case there's somebody out there that's like, whatever, like a millennial, like FIRE investor or whatever that, the movement is. And you're like, oh, actually, my goal is I really like rivers and also vans. And I want to like vlog my life and live in a van down by the river. And that's like literally the thing that I want more than anything. In which case I would say to you, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile. Please do your own research, trade responsibly. And if you do listen to anything I say, you will never end up living in a van down by the river. Okay? So dreams crushed for the one guy out there that was still hopeful for the van life. It's never going to happen. Sorry, bro. Or lady, bro. Or like whatever, bro. I don't know. Can I even say lady, bro anymore? Is that unacceptable? Because it's kind of like, oh, a lady, but a bro. I think for me, bro is not like a guy. It's just a person. But I know some people might get mad if you called them a bro, and they weren't. So that's it. We made it to the end. Bros, lady bros, and everybody in between. Wasn't too bad. I mean, lots of stuff going on here. Obviously, some suspect little scam wicks. All right, I'm taking off the aluminum foil hat now. I'm just going to like attribute that to aliens or something. Hopefully it doesn't continue to happen. The truth is, if we continue to see like insane random events like that taking place on the same assets or even worse, different assets, that's going to kill confidence in the markets. Nobody wants to see moves like that. Not big fund managers, not thick, juicy whales, not even us sharks, okay? I mean, it's nice when there's some blood in the water, but we don't want it to be our own. And when something just drops or pumps like 20% and there's nothing you do about it and it's sus, that does not inspire confidence in the markets. So we got to be real careful with what's taking place here. Got to be real careful with the Fed meeting coming up. And, obviously want to make sure to lock in some gains on all these juicy trades, or at least make it so that we trail our stops. There's no way that we can turn our big winners into big losers, or any losers for that sake. All right, so I'm going to jump in the comments here and then get the hell out of here. What time is it? Oh, we're at 1 hour and 4 minutes. What an absolute stud of a stream. We jammed so much in so little. All right. So Hexevolve says, how big is the group now? It's like 30 something people, but I just assume by logins on the majority of them that most of the people are dead. I would say probably 50% of them obviously have passed on since they haven't been logged. I mean, you expect that obviously in bear markets. And part of the reason I wasn't letting anybody into the group for a while is just because there was so little activity. But that was like our bottom indicator. The one day I logged on and, or like, I mean, I pretty much stay logged on, but the one day I went in there, there was literally nobody. It was the first time I've ever seen since it was just me in the very beginning, back when it was, the dinosaur ticker. And it was just me alone in the group, just talking to myself, not unlike now, but, just in Discord. And honestly, I made a post about like, well, we know the bottom is in because officially nobody logged in. And I kid you not, like to the day, that was the bottom. So actively in the group at any given time, it's probably like 10 to 15 members. Sometimes the stragglers jump on. I think, I don't blame people. A lot of people are new into investing, trading, whatever, and got caught with their pants down by this insane bull run and ended up in a bunch of like, stupid FOMO, diamond hands type groups and stuff like that. So I don't blame people for being massively down on their portfolios. I don't blame people for not wanting to look. So I don't blame people for not wanting to like log in every day. All it does for me is I don't think any less of the people that don't participate in the group that were participating every day. I don't think any less of those people. I understand things happen, move on with your life, whatever the situation is. That's completely fine. But what I do think is very, very highly of the people that are in there putting in their work, grinding on the regular, asking questions, looking at charts, posting trade setups. Like I gain a massive amount of respect for those people. Now, obviously, when we get a big pump on everything, it's kind of like, okay, I see who's showing up now. But look, I appreciate anybody that's putting in work when we're not in some ridiculous melt up, because those are the people that are going to do the best. Because the truth is, it's more often than not, it's not about when you sell. I mean, theoretically, the stock market is designed so you never sell anything. It's about when you buy. So when do you get the best buys in? When do you get the best scalps, swings, trades? When do you catch those knives at the bottom? In the bear market, obviously. In the bicka bear market. So I have mad respect for the people that are putting in the work now. And that's why I was kind of like, it's kind of not fair to like not let people in the group in the bear market if they want to put in the work. But it was really more about me not feeling like they were getting, I mean, you get the indicators out of it, so you get plenty out of it anyway. But all right, so anyway. Don't know where we left off at. Okay, I've been waiting so long for that cup and handle. I know you have, dude. That silver cup and handle. They've been waiting on that for 30 years. I bought silver at $50 in the 1980s. I'm still underwater by 60%. Yeah, poor silver people. And you overpay too with silver. It's always like, oh, my, like, cost basis is $22 on silver. I'm like, is it though? I'm like, or did you pay $10 premium? It's like, well, I paid $12 actually. And I'm like, so your cost me is $34 on silver, a price that may never get hit again. But I mean, honestly, when I buy gold and silver, I buy it specifically with the intention to never sell it. I plan on like, either burying it in my backyard and just not telling anyone about it ever, and then just suddenly dying, or possibly leaving it to my family, depending. It could go either way. Maybe some of each. So when I do die, I fully expect my family to just dig around in my yard. Just in case. Hex Evolved on silver. How long since you first mentioned it on stream? I mean, since I first mentioned silver on stream, I don't know. I've been looking at the same assets pretty much like nonstop. I got extremely into gold and silver and started telling everyone that it's not financial advice, but that they should be buying it hand over fist when gold broke out from 1300. So when gold broke out from 1300 is when I started going nuts, telling everybody that, shit was on. And then we got up to like $2,000 and that was it. I was basically good there. So, but I mean, I've been pretty casual since. I'm still not sure that I like completely love or trust this rally. I mean, I like it. It's good and everything like that. I always own some gold and silver, obviously. always more than I did the year before. But I don't look at silver and gold the same way. I look at it as more like an insurance premium that you get to keep. Like the insurance is to protect you in case like the whole system melts down and your currency implodes, or, Mad Max. Okay. So it's like a very small percentage of my assets, portfolio, whatever you want to call it. Silver a little more like speculatively, obviously, because you don't want to have a ton of silver just because it takes up so damn much room, once you get any amount of it. But yeah, I mean, right around that level, it was like 13, and like I want to say silver was around 17 around the same time. Obviously, I loaded up first for the pump and dump. I bought as much as I could, and then I was like, everyone buy. And I'm like, 4 subscribers were like, they didn't say anything actually, because back then no one said anything in the comments. So I'm glad that there's 6 of you guys here right now. Shit. Hexevolve says you could build an indicator for subscribers. I thought about doing that. But I mean, I already give away a bunch of indicators for just anyone. So I suspect that obviously a lot of people are like, thanks for the indicator, bitch. And then they don't subscribe. I mean, I like to think that people are like, well, the least I could do is click this one button that costs me nothing. But I think there's more people using even one single of my indicators than there is subscribed to the whole channel. So obviously somebody is like about the indicator, but not about me, which is okay. I understand that. I'm kind of obnoxious. But I mean, that's part of my shtick, I think, right? But I do have a bunch of indicators that are exclusive to group members. And by a bunch, I mean like, I don't know, like 3 or something. But they're the best 3. Obviously, I'm biased. All right. So Mark says, I watched the tutorial for the knife and dots tools. Thank you. These are mint. Awesome, man. Glad you enjoyed them. I'll probably redo those eventually, just because they're kind of old and dated. The Dirty C. New catchphrase. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not your new nickname. The Dirty C. Hexevolve says, we're getting central bank digital currencies, free money for everyone. Yeah, I mean, that's just like the next step of the money printer. And we know at that point in time, it's full on like going to be, I'm not one to throw around the term hyperinflation, like some tard or something. But honestly, we saw in real time the inflation from supply chain constraints versus the inflation from direct payments to people that are sitting home, with no way to spend it on anything other than goods. So if we get central bank digital currencies, that's the same thing. That's money straight to households. That's the money that gets spent. That's the money that really causes the inflation. So, I mean, hyperinflation, yeah, probably. But I mean, I think central bank digital currencies are still a way out. I mean, we basically have central bank digital currencies now. The difference is we still have like a middleman between the central bank and us. So the real difference is not whether or not we get a central bank digital currency, because who cares? What is it really? It's digital currency. We already have that. We have SWIFT and all that. It's already that. The real thing is when we bypass the middleman. Right now, the central banks don't deal directly with customers, aka Joe Schmo, aka the crypto sharks, or whatever we call ourselves. They deal with the banks in between. So if we start bypassing the banks in between and the central banks go just full on like, hey, I mean, think about it. It's essentially the central bank just saying, now we're going to bypass the banks. Well, what's the difference between if they bypass the banks and go straight to customers, or if the banks do all like the lending and expansion of the money supply? The difference is banks have to make money. They're businesses. The Fed doesn't have a P&L. I mean, they do. They don't give a damn though. It doesn't matter. They could take an L on everything. They never even have to get paid back. I mean, that's why the Fed has, $30 trillion on its balance sheet right now. It's because it doesn't need to get paid back. It just, keeps writing it down. So if the Fed can do that for consumers, basically you'd be like, oh yeah, we just want to make sure that everybody can get a loan. We don't want your, race or color or age or job or, whatever your like weird thing is that would potentially arguably stop you from being able to get money. And it's like, we want everybody to be able to get some. Well, they can just make bad loans to broke ass people that will never pay the loans back. because they don't have to worry about it, because they don't worry about going out of business or taking it out. So it's a super weird situation. I think it's still way further off than people realize. But I mean, at that point in time, sure, we probably do get some form of, I mean, I don't know if it's like some kind of stipend or, like what do they call it? Where everybody just gets a fat check from the government for doing nothing. I mean, sure, whatever. Sure. Burn it all down. I can't think of it, the term for it. The Andrew Yang. The Oprah money. You get a check. You get a check. Everybody gets a check. All right, where are we at? Let's get out of here. I'm going all in, says Hex Evolved. Nice. You murdered them all. I did. I murdered everything. AA says, sir, I've tried messaging you about the group on TradingView. Send email. Yeah, I don't really check my TradingView stuff real often. It's not really a good place to message me because I don't really use it. I try to respond to people on there, but yeah, if you message me via the email about the group and I did not respond, just message me again. Sometimes it gets stuck in spam. I do try to check occasionally. So just message me again. I obviously wouldn't ignore you on purpose. I like both A's as well as C's. So I have nothing against you. AAACCC. And the last message of the stream is, you can leave your family a metal detector in your will. Yeah. Like a treasure map and a metal detector, and like the treasure map is just my middle finger. Like, good luck, bitches. That's funny. Yeah, definitely message me, man. It's definitely not intentional if I did not respond to you. I do get a lot. Look, I get a lot of spam email having a like crypto / like finance channel. I know it's hard to believe since I only have like whatever, I'm down to like 40 subscribers or whatever it is these days, that my less than 100 subscribers, but I literally get offered money constantly from scam cryptos, scam quote unquote businesses, like literally anything you could possibly figure out to like scam on. They want me to scam you guys. Okay. All 8 of you. I just want you to know there's a dark cloud trying to get me to scam all you guys. If there's more than 8, I mean, maybe, but I mean, right now I think I'm good. If I get on Logan Paul's level, maybe, I'll pull a WWE scam or whatever it is. Crypto hatchers. But in the meantime, I probably just got caught up in my spam folder, dude. So hit me up. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the stream. Be careful in these crazy markets right now. I do not like seeing that crazy glitch volatility BS. We obviously have, the VIX has been like decreased volatility lately. We've got these short dated options. We got these crazy glitches in the markets. We've had some real nice pumps on a lot of stuff. I think that, it's okay to be a little ambitious here, but we should be cautiously ambitious because it could very, very easily be a month or two from now. Everything's making new all-time lows, and I would not be, or cycle lows, I should say. I would not be surprised, not one bit. So yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the stream and we didn't hurt anybody's feelings. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile. Please do your own research and trade responsibly. And, that thing about the living in a van down by the river, I meant it. And yeah, that's it. So it is January 25th, 2023, 9:21 p.m. on a Wednesday. And that is our midweek market wrap up. No stream on Friday. I guess we'll start streaming on Friday again one day, maybe, if we hit 1,000 subscribers. We'll bring back the Friday stream. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's it. I'm out. And I will specifically look out for that email. So, all right, peace.